Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some action. The New York Yankees acquiring Frankie Montas. Did they fleece the Athletics? We'll look into the overall values. We've also got Josh Hader heading to the Padres. I think the Padres did very well in that trade. We'll get to it. But first, the New York Yankees, there had been a lot of speculation, the Athletics upping their asking price for Frankie Montas. The Yankees get this done without giving up Peraza or Dominguez or obviously Volpe. So what an amazing, I will say when it comes to these overall values, the Yankees coming out on top. I think Jack Sears is maybe a little bit undervalued, worth only 4.8. He's pitched really well in the MLB, but you can see Athletics fans not happy about this trade. 15 dislikes. Yankees fans, 22 likes, just 1 dislike on this trade. So they liked their end. Certainly a really good trade for the Yankees. And if the Yankees wanted to make another big move, I don't know if they will. They've already gotten Benintendi. They got an interesting reliever from the Cubs, maybe Clay Holmes 2.0, kind of an interesting, mix there. Theoretically, they could be done, or you've still got all your top prospects. I still don't think, even with all of their top prospects, they can get Juan Soto. They're just going to get outbid by teams that have more, even if you offer the Nationals, a combination of Volpe, Peraza, Dominguez, Gleyber Torres. It's just not going to be enough. Cardinals have more, and Cardinals are apparently very active. That's the latest rumor on the Cardinals. They're very active, but this trade, definitely a win for the Yankees. Just initially looking at it, giving up 4 prospects, but none of the big 3, Dominguez, Peraza, or Volpe. So the Yankees get that done. They get Frankie Montas. I discussed it earlier this morning about Frankie Montas. There's an injury concern, and I think that really hurt the Athletics. Frankie Montas, you look at his career, he's always been a low-inning guy. He's always had nagging injuries. He comes back off the IL. I don't know if they rushed him back or what, but he only throws 3 innings his first start. Then I think his last start, he threw 5 innings. I think they wanted to prove that he was healthy, and they settled for 4 kind of mid-level prospects, or maybe 3 mid-level prospects and 1 low-level prospect. We've got this trade between the Brewers and the Padres, and the general consensus here, Padres did very well. You can see the difference in likes and dislikes just to show the appeasement. Josh Hader, really nasty stuff. He's had a horrible July, but he was unbelievable for the past year. I think the Padres are getting him right when he's about to go on another dominant run, and they're not really giving up much of anything. They're giving up Rogers. I understand why the Brewers did this. I guess they like Ruiz. That's the one prospect they really like, and they very likely weren't re-signing Hader. But even in a situation like this, I just would have kept Hader and then traded him in the offseason. I guess you're going to get a little bit less back for him. But this just seemed like a trade that didn't need to happen. It's almost like they wanted to get rid of Hader. Like they're trying to find a way to trade him. It just seemed unnecessary. He did have a horrible July, but he's been such an unbelievable reliever over his entire career. Just very, just a very weird one, honestly. And I think the Padres did very well in that. We've got this breaking news. Angels have decided to keep Shohei Ohtani. Guys, we speculated, and I speculated earlier this morning that the Angels, this is a ridiculous charade. It's time to end it. It's time to trade Ohtani and actually get something back for him. And I feel so bad for Angels fans because this was a pure ownership decision. This was a pure current day revenue decision. Shohei Ohtani will be less valuable in the winter. He will get less of a return than he would right now. The only way I can see this working out for the Angels is if somehow Mike Trout stays healthy next year. Shohei Ohtani stays healthy. Rendon stays healthy. They go out and they retool, and somehow next year is different. and the Angels make a playoff run with Ohtani, with Trout, and with Rendon. That seems really far-fetched to me. And then comes the whole thing, you're going to have to re-sign Ohtani, and there are a number of issues with that. If you are the Angels, you already have Mike Trout eating up over $30 million in salary every year. Rendon's eating up over $30 million every year. So are you going to give Ohtani $40 million per year? Let alone the injury concerns that Ohtani has with him being a pitcher and a hitter. So this is just, I feel bad for Angels fans. You can tell this is ownership basically saying, listen, Ohtani brings us great revenue. He brings us great eyeballs. And the only way I can see this working out for the Angels is if somehow, some way, like them re-signing Ohtani, I would not view that as a positive. Ohtani is not 23. I believe he's 28. And he has a major, if you're going to sign him to a 6-year contract at $40 million per year, that is an absurd risk. You've already got Trout signed at around $30 million per year for the next 10 years, and Trout right now can't stay healthy. What do you think Trout's going to look like at 36 or 37? Not to mention the Rendon contract. So the Angels, it's so sad that and then people were talking about the Angels could trade Ohtani in the offseason. Clearly now you're not going to trade Ohtani in the offseason because that would make no sense. Ohtani for the next 2 months is going to do nothing but lose you value. No matter how well he pitches, no matter how well he hits, he's going to have less time on his contract. Teams are going to view that as a less desirable asset. If you trade him in the winter, he's only going to be with a team for one playoff run, as opposed to if you traded him at the deadline, he would be for 2. So the only thing keeping Ohtani does, it increases his injury risk and it devalues him as an asset. That's all it does. The only thing the Angels can hope is basically the exact same thing they did this offseason. They play the little game. We've got the 2 best players in baseball. Let's go sign Noah Syndergaard, get some pitching, and then suck again. And then Mike Trout has a chronic back issue, and we're trading Ohtani at next year at the deadline for pennies on the dollar because it'll be a 2-month rental. Okay, I feel so bad for the Angels. What an unfortunate situation for their fan base. I know it's kind of an oxymoron because you're like, oh, they get to watch Ohtani. How is it bad? No, I mean, it's just the future of the team. You have to take everything into account. The contracts they currently have. With Rendon and Trout, and it's like you want to give Ohtani $40 million per year. There's another injury risk. Rendon's already injured. Trout's already injured. You're going to pay 3 players on your roster $120, $130 million. That's like 70% of your payroll right there. So that is interesting that they kept him. We knew it was a possibility. But at some point, if you're the GM of that team apparently has no say. It's all the owner. So it is unfortunate there. And then we do have the Juan Soto update. Well, this isn't a Juan Soto update, but it says the Cardinals are one of MLB's most active teams with a little more than 24 hours until the deadline. They're well positioned to land an impact starter and remain in the mix for Juan Soto. So that might mean Carlos Rodon. With Frankie Montas off the board, it might mean Carlos Rodon. Once again, guys, so far, we might get more big trades today, but so far as I'm filming this, we've got the New York Yankees doing very well. With the Frankie Montas trade, I think Oakland realized the injury concerns to Montas. They weren't going to get a ton. They weren't going to get a big haul. So they end up getting 4 prospects for him. And none of the prospects are really crazy impact, in my opinion. And then the Padres doing very well, getting Josh Hader. It seems like an unnecessary kind of weird move by the Brewers. I'm guessing they really like that one prospect, Ruiz, who's worth $4.7 million in trade value. They're saying he is a position player and he did do very well in AAA. So my only theory is that they really like him. And that is that situation. So we'll see. I'm still expecting. There was a rumor that Juan Soto might not get traded. I think Juan Soto is going to get traded tomorrow. Of course, time will tell. But Ohtani is staying. I did my rant on that. Juan Soto, though, still, it's looking the same 3 teams we're expecting. The Dodgers, again. So the other interesting thing. the Padres traded basically nobody that, that would be in a Juan Soto trade. So very easily they could still trade for Juan Soto. I'm sure people assumed if you're trading for Josh Hader, you're not going to trade for Juan Soto because you're giving up prospects. Well, all the prospects they gave up were really low level. So they could very easily still trade for Juan Soto. I'm sure they're still in for it. Some Yankees fans were saying that, even with the situation, all the trades they've already made, Benintendi, Montas, the relievers, they could still be in it for Juan Soto. I mean, they just don't have enough in terms of overall value, the Yankees, in my opinion. You have teams like the Cardinals who are willing, apparently, to trade Nolan Gorman, Dylan Carlson, the young players. You've got Matthew Liberatore. You've got Mason Wynn. You're just going to get outbid. Even if you offer up... The other rumor that I heard, apparently the Nationals don't view Anthony Volpe as highly as many other teams, which would basically completely eliminate the Yankees because the Nationals would have to be in love with Volpe to take the Yankees package over a package that was, Mackenzie Gore, C.J. Abrams, Robert Hassel, something like that, or even the Dodgers package with their young catcher. So that is the current situation with that. We have two major trades here, and we will see. I think the Yankees did do well. With Frankie Montas, you kind of got to hold your breath. I guess the positive, he's been injured, meaning he should be fresh. He doesn't have a lot of he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his arm this year, but it is a situation where Montas does routinely get injured, so that is something to watch and see. Now the Yankees have Garrett Cole, Montas. We'll see if when Severino comes back, Nestor Cortez as well, and then kind of a mishmash, Jordan Montgomery, Jameson Taillon in the back end of their rotation. So that is a very deep rotation as long as it stays healthy. We will see, guys. That is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.